welcome to spring practice 2017, or second spring practice here, and day one is in the books. Excited about what saw out there today. I thought we had a clean practice, a very crisp practice. It was fairly fast and efficient, and saw a lot of progress from guys that have played a lot of snaps here in the past. So happy to see what those guys look like today. Just want to go through a couple of house cleaning items. I know it's been a long time since we've had a chance to meet like this and talk, and I want to start with a couple staff things. I know a lot of you guys know that Bill Bush received a title promotion to a co-D coordinator. I think Bill does a great job for our program, and it's well deserved. And Jay is our D coordinator, and we'll call the defense and organizes the defense. But Bill Bush will be heavily relied on to continue to do what he's done. I thought he did a great job with our secondary a year ago, and it's a well-deserved promotion. Secondly, we'll announce that A.J. Blazik will receive the title of assistant head coach. I think A.J. does a great job for our program. He's tremendous with our players. He's great out in public with whether it be high school coaches, fans, donors, whoever it may be that comes across to A.J. A.J. is high energy, very intelligent, cares about people, does a great job in our program, is a guy that I lean on a lot to help on day-to-day things here in our building, but also do things externally on the outside. Couple injury updates, just medical scholarship-wise. George Bear will be going on medical scholarship. George has battled injuries on and off throughout his career here at Rutgers. And then Jarius Adams is another one that you won't see out there that's battling some things from all the way back to early training camp and middle of last season. Guys that are limited are out. Janair and Grant, obviously. Marcus Applefield did a little bit more. Hopefully we'll do a little bit more than what we thought before we started spring practice. Jerome Washington will be limited because of postseason surgery. Tyreek Williams will be limited to out because of surgery. Ronnie James. Trevor Morris hopefully is not going to be limited long. He's been limited this offseason here lately with some things from the weight room. And then Bonagora will be limited also. So as you're out there and you're looking for certain individuals, those guys will maybe get back later in spring, but will be limited at best as we go through the course of spring. Just some position switches. I know you guys were out there, and most of you guys know that we moved Miles Nash from defensive end to tight end. I think it's a great move for not only him individually, but for our football team. We are lean on tight ends, and Coach Kill wants to be able to use tight ends, and we need to find some bodies. Miles Nash is an athletic kid. He was a wide receiver in high school and actually was an offensive player earlier in his career here at Rutgers, and I think it's a great fit for him as well as our offense. And Solomon Manning, we moved from linebacker to defensive end. He's gotten big, and again, we're not sitting here with long lines at defensive end, and I think it gives him a chance to help our football team faster at defensive end than he would have at linebacker. Just follow up on other staff changes. We had some staff changes here in the offseason. Start with offensive coordinator Jerry Kill and running backs coach Lester Erb on the offensive side of the ball. Been great additions to our staff. Tremendous people, great football coaches, and they really care about the players, and that's the most important thing. And they've done a great job of fitting in with the way we do business here and building relationships with the players and helping develop our offense as well as our fundamentals with our players on offense. And then Henry Baker moving in as our corners coach here in the secondary. Very excited to have Henry here also. He's a veteran guy, played ball. He's coached at many different stops. And, again, same thing, just like the other two guys. Great teacher, really cares about players. He's done a great job of building a relationship and helping those corners develop and improve on their skills as we move forward. With that, I'm going to go ahead and just open it up for questions and let you guys fire away.
Last time you had spring practice here, you were here a few months. You hadn't really got to see guys on the field much yet, other than what you'd seen from Iowa State. What has been different from last year to this year, whether it's how players have improved, strength and conditioning, or just the second go-around?
All the above, to be honest with you. I mean, you talk about player development. That's a phrase a lot of people throw out there that is really important to us, and I think we see a lot of development that's taken place from this time a year ago to this time now. That's physically, that's mentally. that's maturity, a lot of it, and I really like where a lot of the players are at right now from a player development standpoint. And just when you watch them put on the helmets and get the balls out and go practice like we did today, they practice a lot faster. There's not a lot of questions. We're not coaching, little things like alignments and stances as much as we were a year ago. We're not coaching guys to finish drills and finish reps like we were a year ago. So there's a lot that goes into player development, but I really like the way a lot of players have developed in the last year. And we know them a lot better.
Much different for you? I mean, this now
yeah, it is. Well, yeah, because I know the players. I'm not hey, who's 52 or who's this. I know the guys, and I know strengths and weaknesses, and we know what we have to do to continue to develop those guys. We have a standard set with the way we want to practice and the way we want to work, and we have a system in place that the players know and understand and believe in, and all those things that we were working to build last year, they're in place, and now we can go out and really just coach and help these kids get better.
Jay Harris was out there. Jay Harris was out
Yep.
there a little bit. What's his plan for spring between baseball and football? And is there any kind of rule that limits what he can do?
Yeah, he's a baseball player, and that's his first priority right now, and that was the agreement that we had. If the weekly schedule of baseball allows him to come over and be around football at all, then he can do it. But his first priority is baseball right now, and I think he's having a great season and doing a great job for the baseball team, and we're excited about that for him and the baseball team. But also excited about him that if he does have free time and it fits within his hourly limit, that he can come over and be a part of our football team. And you talk about player development, he struggled to be able to do that a year ago, and through his maturity and understanding, his body and his hour limits, he can make this thing work where he gets a little bit of football. And again, the priority is baseball for him, though.
How's that shaping up in the pecking order?
It's day one. How's it shaping up? I'll tell you here when we get through spring. Well, yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, there's three guys really getting the reps: Gio, Talon Oden, and Zach Allen. We're all guys that got reps. I mean, all got some reps today. Gio is a returning starter, but nothing is given. It's got to be earned, and Gio knows that, and he's going out to try to, through the course of spring practice, hopefully, become the number one quarterback when spring is over. But right now, Gio is taking reps with the first team.
Look at little things and we see that Zach Allen was ahead of Gio and just a stretching. We make anything.
Yeah, it's his senior.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing to that. I know you guys try to look at all those little things and make a story. I mean, I know you got to make a story out of something so you get a paycheck and all that, but no, there's no story there. It's a stretch line where senior is in front. I know. I like to talk to Sarge.
I should take my story down.
I don't know what story you put up, but based on that comment, probably.
Janarian being out there, how good was it to see him? And then I guess how much can he do right now?
He can't do much. He's limited. The fact that he can get out and do anything right now with running some routes and catching some balls is a benefit to him and to us. But Janarian's going to do as much as he can do. We're not going to put him in position to get injured at all. Obviously, he's one of our best players, and we need him to be 100% when we get into summer workouts and into training camp in the fall. But the fact that he can just get some mental reps and he can run some routes right now is a great spot for him. He's come a long way from the surgery and where he was at in January, making the decision to come back and all those things. I think he mentally and physically he's in a good spot right now, and we need to keep him there. Yeah.
In regard to position battles, obviously it's first practice of spring, but even once you get through the spring, how much do you determine here, and how much do you, of course, have to wait for some guys who are going to come in August?
Well, we hope as we go through spring practice, there will be a lot of positions that will be shored up by the time spring is over. Don't want to go into training camp with 22 open spots. That would not be a very good situation for us. But even if we do come out of spring and certain guys are named starters, I think we have some pretty good players coming in the fall that will be joining our football team that will add competition to a lot of spots. And whether they can come in and take over for someone that's been here, I don't know. But they're going to be given that opportunity. But again, when spring is over, we're hoping that we got a lot of our positions shored up. We feel good about who the starter is, who the backup is, and if somebody new comes in and takes somebody's spot, we'll see. I mean, that's the type of competition that we need. When you talk about just priorities here for spring, one, we want to identify who our top players are and who our potential starters are. We got to build depth. We got to create competition, because that's something that's really lacking in a lot of spots. And some of that competition may not come until some of those newcomers come in the fall.
What kind of pecking order do you see a linebacker right now? Just, you've already talked about some of the injuries that you have this spring.
Yeah.
How does that shape up compared to last year?
Honestly, it's not a lot different, other than the fact that Roberts and Morris have played a lot of football, and their practice today, I'll be honest with you, was better than any practice they had all last year. Those guys both have physically and mentally improved a lot. They understand the defense. They communicated better than they ever had. They were in great football stances. Their footwork was good. They played and reacted and played a lot faster than what they did a year ago. Those two guys are clearly our two best linebackers right now. Tyreek Williams is out for the spring. Brandon Russell is getting reps at our field backer, our Sam backer. And when Tyreek when he comes back and is healthy, he'll have an opportunity to gain that spot back. We got 4 linebackers that we signed, and every one of those guys are going to have an opportunity to come in and push for a spot in the 2 deep and/or playing time if they can earn it, and hopefully they can. That's why we recruited them. But Roberts and Morris are definitely our 2 best linebackers. Honestly, one of the young guys that I was excited to see out there today that I thought showed some promise was Rashawn Battle. Rashawn has not done a whole lot in his first year here. He was on a scout team. He needed to get in shape, lose some weight, and lean up a little bit. And I'm not telling you anything that he doesn't know, but today, for his first day of practice from where he was a year ago when we finished our last game and he finished on the scout team, I'm really pleased with what I saw out of him. It's going to be a work in progress. It'll look a lot different in the fall than it does right now. The 2 guys that are new, the Mitchell brothers, got a lot of talent, a lot of promise. They got to learn how to play receiver. They got to learn the offense. But they are a big, athletic, explosive guys, and it's just going to be a work in progress for them. DeCoven Bailey is a returning guy that played quite a bit last year. We've got to see him continue to develop. Wide receiver wasn't his natural position to begin with. He's more of a running back. But, he's a wide receiver right now for us, and we got to develop him to become a better wide receiver. But then you got some of the Baugh and Mo Jabby. Those are guys that we got to develop and bring on here this spring. But with Janarian coming back and the influx of youth that we got coming in the fall, the wide receiver group will look a lot different than it does today. But the guys that are here on campus, we have to develop them to become as good as they can be by the time we play next September.
Oh, go ahead.
Chris, now you've had a few months to work with Coach Kill. What do you like about his offense that he's installing? I mean, how excited are you about that new system?
I don't know where you get there's a new system, but I'm not concerned really about his system as much as I am about just his leadership in general. Coach Kill's been a head coach, been a very successful head coach. I don't care if he runs a 2-back, 3-back, no-back offense. He's been a successful football coach. He's a tremendous leader for our offensive staff. He's been great for our players. He's a great teacher. So whatever system he's going to run, and I'm just kind of throwing that out. The system doesn't really matter as much as the leadership and the relationships that he builds with the players. Again, he's a great teacher. He's a great organizer. He's a great developer. He's a great relationship builder. And those are the things that will make our offense better and make it as good as it can possibly be, is when you got somebody leading it like that. And that's probably what I'm most excited about with him. I was given some advice, not really some advice, but somebody told me a while ago that when you become a head coach, you want to hire assistant coaches that will attack their job like you would have. And he coaches the offense and attacks his job like I would want to as a coordinator, and that helps you release some stress and sleep a little bit better at night as a head coach when you got a guy doing that.
We talk a lot about the offensive changes. Where do you see this defense going? Do you expect it to be more multiple? Do you expect to,
No, I mean what we need to do on defense. I'll start with just the whole program in general. You know, everyone wants to get into offense and defensive strategy, and strategy is so important. You know, we have offense and defensive philosophies right now that we feel really good about. We need to get the behaviors to be where they need to be so the strategies work. What we also need to be able to do is we need to be able to get better up front on both sides of the ball regardless of what scheme we run. We need to be able to block better on the offense. We need to be able to use our hands and get off blocks better on the defensive front. We need to be able to protect the quarterback better on the O-line. We need to be able to get after the quarterback better on the D-line. The other thing we need to be able to do defensively is we need to be able to stop the run. And that means we've got, regardless of what we're doing, we use our hands, get our blocks, we pursue and tackle better. The biggest thing that we need to address is how we get our best 11 players on the field. Even if we have injuries, who's the next man, and not necessarily just the backup, who is the next best player to get on the field, and make sure we have a plan to get that done. For an example, you know, last year we would have been locked into a certain system. If a defensive end went down, guess what we did? We had to put in the next defensive end, you know, that backup. Doesn't mean that was necessarily the next best player to give ourselves a chance to go win. So we're really looking at how we can make sure we have our system set where we can get the next best player, so the 11 best on the defensive side of the football team are out there playing. What does that mean? You know, it really nothing other than the fact that we're going to be able to adjust with our personnel a little bit more and be able to get the best 11 out there is what that means.
Could we see 3 safeties in like a base package? You know,
it just depends. If we didn't have the linebackers to play, yeah. I mean, if we have to play nickel defense because of personnel, yeah, we can do that. We had to do that some last year. Because of injuries. It's more about, and that's pretty standard with every team, whether they're a base team or a nickel team, and being able to go from one or the other based on injuries. Where we have to be able to make sure we get our best players on is our front 7, you know, and more up front on the D-line. Is the next best guy if an injury occurs a D-lineman? Is he a linebacker? And make sure our system is structured in a way that, regardless of who it is, we can put him in and we can go play our defense. And it's not a drastic change. Got a great one. Kamoko's in a different position right now because last offseason he was dealing with rehab. He couldn't lift, he couldn't practice, and when you're in that situation and you're a good player, it's frustrating, it's tough. He's had a tremendous offseason. He's been healthy. He's been able to work out. Just for an example, the fact that he's gotten his shoulders healthy again and he's built up upper body strength. I think, you know, last year, and I hate to throw these numbers out because I may be off a number or two, but, you know, I think he could bench press 225 like 5 or 6 times, and now he's at 19 or 20. You know, so his upper body strength has definitely changed, and he's a lot more confident in himself because of that. He's in great shape. And he's going to be able to practice all spring. And we need, if you're talking about schemes and all that stuff, if we can make Kamoko Toure an every down player, guess what? We're going to be a lot better. You know, the kid is as talented as anybody on our football team. I think he's a very talented individual that could play at a lot of places, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a great football player yet. And we need to make Kamoko become a great football player with the talent he has, and he will definitely help our football team. And I like where he's at right now. I like his practice today. I mean, he was all over the field today, and we need to continue him on that path and keep him healthy. Yeah.
That Drake Hill brings in, and from the player's perspective, you lose a couple of seniors, JPO and Darius, your captains. Have you seen any guys kind of emerge? I know it's only the first day, but emerge in the leadership role?
Well, you're talking mostly on the defensive side there with those individuals, and they were great players and great leaders for us. But it's you know, if you have the program going in the right direction, it's next man up. You know, and but that's both as players and that's as leaders. And I really like where Deontay Roberts is right now. You know, he's a guy that has had a great offseason. He improved himself in all areas in the weight room. He's improved himself. He really studied himself from last year. Went back and studied every rep, goods and bads, and didn't like what he saw. And he came in and attacked the offseason with a different mentality. He is providing a lot of leadership, not only for the linebackers, but the defense and the football team right now. And I'm really excited about where he's at. So if you talk about next man up, that's a guy that next man up to be hopefully a leader that like those other two individuals were for us. Sebastian Joseph is doing a great job of leadership. Sebastian's a very high-charactered individual. I think he kind of sat behind those other two, Darius and JPO, and now that they're gone, it's his time to step up. So those are two guys that right now, just off the top of my head, that from a leadership standpoint, I've seen them do a lot more here this offseason, and excited to see how they continue to develop as leaders as we move forward.